Hey everyone, I'm Megyn Kelly. Welcome to the Megyn Kelly Show. Oh, do we have a treat for you today? Buckle up. One of the funniest people in America is with me for the full show right here in studio. Comedian Andrew Schulz has a new Netflix special out this week called Life. If you go on Netflix, it's one of the top shows right now. You can't miss it, and you shouldn't miss it. It's only an hour. You will laugh, and believe it or not, you will cry too. It's actually very touching. At times, I did not expect that. And I was just saying to him before we got started, I watched it the same way I watch all Andrew Schulz content, like this. Oh, I'm afraid. And I love it. I hate myself for loving it so much. The whole thing is actually deeply personal, and his pal Matt Damon helped him announce it. Don't miss a moment. Subscribe to this show on YouTube and follow me on Insta, Facebook, and X. You don't go out and buy a life jacket when the boat is sinking, and you don't buy gold when the economy has already collapsed. Clearly, others are heeding this advice as gold hit all-time highs already this year. It's not too late for you, too, and you could have Birch Gold help you diversify into physical gold. Birch Gold specializes in helping you convert an existing IRA or 401k in whole or in part into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold, and for no money out of pocket. One recent 5-star review said Birch Gold was, quote, knowledgeable, helpful, non-pressure. Get your free info kit on gold by texting the letters MK to the number 989898. There is no obligation, just useful information. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and countless 5-star reviews, text MK to 989898 and let the experts at Birch Gold help you secure your future today with gold. Watch this.
Schultzy.
Matthew.
Hey, cute baby. I didn't get the Amber Alert.
We are celebrating. My new special's coming out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What do you, stand up there and grow a mustache?
Actually, if you want to know, it's about my wife and I trying to make a baby.
Hey, everybody. This dumbass right here has a special about his low sperm count, and it's on Netflix.
That's a legend, dude.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great to have you.
It's great to see you.
Oh, God, likewise. I mean, you were actually one of my first guests. You know, we just celebrated episode 500 or 1,000, I don't know, 1,000. And you were 78, number 78.
Wow.
You were like
Well,
on the ground floor. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was in California for that. But then I saw you. This is like right after I saw you at the Borgo.
Yes, that's right.
But I didn't come up and bother. You know,
That's
you were
right.
doing
That's
yeah.
I forgot that.
Yeah,
and now look at you. I mean, now your career is just taken off.
Nah, things have been cool.
Really cool. And personally, I mean, the funniest bit you ever did, and it's still one of my favorites. This is from a special, not like on this show, but you were talking about your then girlfriend and how obsessed she was with crime shows.
Oh yeah,
I could totally relate to this.
Yeah.
And how I remember you did this bit on how you'd watch NFL football with her, and she'd be like, and some guy would have a compound fracture with the blood everywhere in the bone, and every guy you know would be like, oh my God. And she'd be like, when is someone coming to murder him?
Yeah. It's like not savage enough. Yeah. Why do you guys like the serial killer stuff?
I have my own theories. I think it's because like when you grow up, you know, who gets murdered? Who gets attacked?
Women.
Who gets stolen? Young women.
Yeah.
We're the victims. And so like it's instilled in you from an early age by your parents, by your friends, by your teachers, by TV, the news, like you're the victim. Like, and so, you know, you walk around everywhere like, oh my God. And then there's a morbid fascination with what happens to others. Like, how do I prevent that from happening to me?
Yeah.
And I think that's why.
So it's just, it's fear-based. So this is like this, gigantic fear you have.
Yeah, we're working something out.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the same way my 11-year-old likes to watch shark videos all the time.
Because he thinks he's going to get eaten by a shark?
Totally. And meanwhile...
So what is our fear? What is our...
You know what?
Are men just not afraid of anything?
I'm embarrassed to tell you that I've been dreaming lately about the AM update that we've been doing as a new pod that we've launched in our feed. It's very embarrassing. My dreams are about news now.
Okay.
Because I do it either really late or early morning, and it's just on my mind. And you shouldn't dream about news. That's just sad.
Yeah.
Right? That's pathetic.
Well, this is your passion. This is what you dedicate your life to, you see.
But I could relate to, didn't you say, did I hear this in the special that you were saying your girlfriend always dreams about you cheating on her?
Oh, yeah, my wife
your
now.
wife
Yeah,
now,
she dreams about me cheating on her. Yeah.
So I've had that dream with Doug, too. And if I have that dream the next day, I am such a bitch to him. right?
It is funny that you punish us for it.
Right.
But yeah, that was what I was saying, I think, in the special. It's like, why can't I have those dreams? It's almost like
You're like, go through it, walk me through it.
Yeah, I was like, I'd like to know exactly. But yeah, it's almost as like, God shot the dream arrow and like it was just like a degree off. You know what I mean? Like, he was
I'm
supposed
right
to put
here.
that in my brain. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It is weird. I don't really have dreams where I'm cheating on her.
Or where she's cheating on you.
I think I might have had something and I woke up upset. I think it's like, this is my sexism coming out, but like when a woman cheats, like even in like a movie, like my thought is like, who wrote this?
Like, this is sick.
Yeah, this is twisted shit. Like if I watch a serial killer thing, I'm like, okay, this is what it is. But if I see like a woman being unfaithful in something, I'm like, there is a diabolical madman out there writing this shit. Like, we need to like lock him up. Like, why would you promote this?
We're lost as a society.
I become this like really conservative Christian. Like, I'm just like, what is the American foundation and nuclear family is being destroyed? Oh God, look at me getting all
You're getting really
excited,
worked up about it.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, my girlfriends and I have had this talk many times. Like, would you definitely leave your husband or your boyfriend if you found out he was cheating on you?
Yeah.
And then, of course, you get into, well, is it a one-off or is it like a full-blown affair with somebody else?
Yeah.
And honestly, most of the women I know have the same answer to both, which is, no, I would not leave him.
Isn't that? But also they have children, right?
Yeah.
That changes the entire game.
Yeah.
It's also like, ugh. But yeah, this is good. Wait a minute. So we can cheat? Is that what you're
literally
trying to
every
say?
friend of Doug's right now is texting him, hall pass. Hall pass. No.
We're going to Colombia, Doug.
Not saying that.
Oh, whoopsie.
It's just, like that's a,
You know what? I'm curious your take on this. Like, I was talking to some of the women that work with me, and there's this like this prominence in when we're talking about relationships now, like talking about like red flags and ick culture. Have you heard about this?
No, I must be too old.
Okay, so like a lot of women talk about like red flags and icks they have with men, like little things that they do that annoy them.
Okay.
And it could be something like small, like if it's raining and a guy lifts his shoulders, I don't like that. It like really turns me off to him.
That's
like,
tough.
Yeah, exactly. So, and like they're really like nuanced and specific. And I was like, I was asking him like, what do you think that's about? And this is my suspicion. I think that like there's so much pressure for women to be with somebody that they maybe would rather be with somebody they don't really like than be alone. Like their moms are constantly going, hey, you got to get married. You got to have someone. And then you're with someone you don't like.
Oh, God.
And when you're around someone you don't like, everything about them annoys you.
No, you can't have that. No, and then you're going to let them get on top of you?
Never.
No.
Never.
How could you?
But if you really love someone, like you said, they can go to Colombia with the boys.
It has the opposite effect. It's like nothing bothers me.
Nothing at all.
It's all really cute.
Yeah.
It's funny because I can't think of a thing about Doug that bothers me like that. And even after we just celebrated our 17th.
Doug's the man, dude.
He is the man. We just celebrated our 17th wedding anniversary on Saturday.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And honestly, like even after 17 years of marriage, he doesn't do anything that like grosses me out. He's like, I don't know. I just find him very attractive.
Me neither. He's such a dreamboat, this guy.
But he is very funny about, not about me, but about other people that like his number one thing that drives him nuts. And his brother has it too. And I think it's called mesothelioma, not like the lung disease you get, but I may be saying it wrong.
It's like having sex with dead people.
No, it's where you can't stand the sound of somebody chewing. It drives him
I was way off.
Insane. Yeah. Mesothelioma is like the lung disease, and this is mesothelioma. I gotta look it up.
But he doesn't like hearing people
Mesophonia.
chew.
Thank you, Steve Krakauer.
Yeah.
Mesophonia, right? Where it drives you nuts if you can really hear somebody chewing. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's somebody in the extended family who's like, every time you sit down with this person, they get a big bowl of raw carrots and start like downing it. And both brothers are like,
yeah, we can't deal with this. Yeah, Doug. Yeah, Doug's got his idiosyncrasies, which you got to put up with.
He does.
So are you a quiet chewer then?
I'm actually pretty quiet, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I'm really kind of proud of it.
Yeah.
I have pretty good table manners.
That's
You'll
good.
see this with your new daughter. I mean, if that's something with your kids.
That I have to like bestow manners upon them.
You can never let up. It's like they don't hear, they don't listen. You could tell them 10,000 times and they still don't listen. You don't go to the food comes to you.
Yeah.
You know, like all the little things and still small bites.
Yeah.
And still you see your kid with like a mountain of food shoving it in there.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I can't send you out into the world like this.
Yeah. My parents never taught me table manners.
They didn't?
Never taught me. I learned table manners from the Titanic.
What?
You know this scene where like the
Where Leonardo
lady,
DiCaprio goes.
she's like the long go
Molly
from
Brown.
outside in with the forks. Like
Yes.
that's literally the moment. I remember I had a girlfriend. I was like in Denmark with like her family, and I was like using my thumb to shovel salad onto a fork, and the father like put his hand on my wrist and was like, "Please use the silverware."
No.
Yeah.
Oh, the humiliation.
Yeah. Some Viking.
I still have some questions, I have to say. I never took, any sort of manners classes, though
Yeah.
I would love to get some for my kids. If somebody offered that, I would totally hire this person.
What is that called?
I don't
Etiquette
know.
classes,
Like
or something
class?
Like that? Yeah, class. Yeah. This is what they do down south, right?
We were raised like wolves. That's why we don't have a lot of it.
I'm watching you. Whatever I see works. We ate out every meal or like had delivery.
Yes.
So there wasn't exactly like this big display.
I don't remember my parents ever correcting table manners. It's something I picked up on later in life when I got to be more of a professional person.
Yeah.
But I still have questions. Like, here's one question for the audience. Maybe they know. Maybe you know this. When you're eating soup,
Do you go outside in or inside
no,
out?
I know you're supposed to go from the front to the back. I know you're supposed to.
I don't
you're
do
supposed
that.
to
I think
scoop
that's
from the front to
stupid.
the back. It is stupid, but
It's
you're
an
supposed to do
extra
it.
motion. Like, why would you move the food further away from you? This is this like pretentious like British shit where it's like really wealthy people have to find a way to make you feel insecure about you not having money. And then when everybody started wearing suits, it's like, all right, well, we got to belittle them somehow. Oh, if you see somebody moving the spoon out, then they really have money. I hate this shit.
True.
What I love about America is the lack of rules in that regard.
Yes.
Like, we're not trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Well, here's my question on it, though. In addition to those, what do you do with the soup spoon when you are in the middle? You want to put it down, or when you're done? Does it go right back in the soup, or does it go on the little
I accidentally move it off the table and it falls, and I go, oh God, and then somebody gets
that's not okay. No, it's either supposed to go right back in the soup, which is what I think you're supposed to do, or you're supposed to put it on the plate, like the saucer, underneath the soup, that plate that's holding the soup bowl.
Yes. But one of them signifies to the waiter that you're finished, and one signifies you're still eating.
With the soup, that's true too?
I just made that up.
Okay.
But it seems like it makes sense.
I do know what to do on the plate when you want to signify you're done.
Knife in between the fork.
Fork and knife at 5 o'clock.
Yes.
Like one's at, I guess 10 of 5, at 10 of 5. So one's at the 10 and one's at the 5 on your plate.
Yeah.
That I got.
Yeah.
That's my one thing.
Isn't it crazy that we have to like speak in code to the waiters at the restaurant?
Right.
Like,
Yo.
Yeah, that works, right?
I'm done.
Yeah. Nothing left on the plate.
Are you a good tipper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I worked in the service industry. So,
That's the thing.
Yeah.
If
you've
you've
been
ever
in the
done
game,
it, same.
Yeah.
I have to say, so I have
What is a good tip for you?
Well, I always leave 50%.
What?
50. Yeah. I always leave 50. But can I tell you something kind of surprising? You think, is it good or it's bad? It's good.
50%?
Yeah, it's a lot, right?
I mean, they're not the government.
Well,
You don't have to
I
give
always
them-
want to be overly generous to the wait staff.
I mean, wow, that
But
is.
I got to tell you something. I never, and I go to
Women
the same.
don't usually tip. I just want to point that out. Like, that's not a big thing.
That
Like,
one's important to me.
that is.
You will never read a report about me being a bad tipper.
Wow. I'm not going 50.
What do you go?
50? I go like 25
That's
or
good.
something like that.
That's good.
I keep it round.
I got
know?
this from Sean Hannity, who tips 100%.
He does.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. He's going to hell.
I'm like, that's too much for
No,
me.
that's guilt.
But
Something's
50,
going on. Something's going on.
he's a really generous guy.
He's harassing waitresses. Something's happening where he's paying them off. 100% is guilt. There's something wrong.
But I got to be honest with you.
He's taking, Sean is a great guy. You're
Yes,
not doing this.
he's
but
not.
You're not at all. Where's my camera? You're not at all doing this. But I would tip 100% too if I was taking my girlfriend to the fucking thing and I didn't want anybody to know about it. But Sean would never do that, and that's not the case. And
Not it.
Listen,
He does not need to stray. He's with Ainsley. He's good. Well, listen, I was going to say, I would kind of expect that when I go back to these same restaurants and have the same waiter, like maybe I'd get a little bit more white glove treatment.
Yeah.
I noticed absolutely no white glove
No
treatment.
way.
I don't think it really counts. So I just have to feel good about it in my heart, which I do.
Is not the reason why we do it.
Well, I mean, it would be nice if somebody was like, thanks for it. But
Isn't it the worst when you're like at the bar and you're like, I'm going to fucking tip this bartender big. And you go to put the money down and they walk away. And now you got to just stand there until they come back and notice the tip. Because I need your recognition that I left that. Like, this needs to be very clear, you know?
My 13-year-old daughter just asked this question at the dinner table last night. This is where it's going for you. She said, is any act of charity ever for the other person? Or is it all
purely altruistic?
Selfish? Isn't it all selfish?
I would like to believe that we are capable of altruism, but I think that there are like percentages of selfishness for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're doing it to get to heaven, that seems pretty selfish.
Yeah, that's what she was saying. And she was saying even just to make yourself feel good, there's an element of selfishness in it. And then my brother-in-law said, what if you threw yourself on a grenade? And she said, no, still. You're doing it like there's some piece of you that's doing it to feel good about saving somebody, or you might be like awarded the Medal of Honor if you're, like there's something in there.
She's 13?
Very cynical.
Fuck. Can I curse on this?
Yes,
Is that cool? Okay. Yeah. Wow.
We couldn't have on Andrew Schulz if you could not curse.
That's a good point. Wow. That is a sophisticated thought for a 13-year-old.
I know.
Has she watched Everything Everywhere All at Once? Is that the name of the...
Well, she watches some of the Dateline specials with me. That's probably part of it. Though tonight she's got that side where she's deep and philosophical and cynical in some ways. But tonight she'll be starring as Ursula in The Little Mermaid at her school play.
Did she pick Ursula?
No, she tried out for it. Yeah.
So she wanted Ursula.
Yeah.
We got to keep an eye on this girl right here. We got to keep a very close watch on this girl. This is because it is. I think that what she's approaching is like a very realistic way of looking at life. Which is but sometimes having that view of humanity can be difficult to handle. Yeah. That's a really sophisticated view of humanity.
It's very hard with a mother who's in news and a father who is as cynical and funny as Doug is.
Yes.
It's just, our kids have a very healthy sense of humor, which you would appreciate, but like very realistic.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think like what is the positive impact of that is you can have probably like really mature conversations with them.
Yeah, she's definitely ahead of her time.
What is her school?
She did it. It's a private school. It's all girls. I will say it's more woke than I would like. But not as woke as the one we pulled her from in New York City.
That's the conversation I have with parents, public and private, is the exact same one that we're having right now. Yeah. It's just like, they're all kind of like woke, to use that term. And it's kind of like we've beaten that term to the ground.
No, they just had one of the, I don't know, it was Martin Luther King Day. Yeah. And they had an assembly. And they had the head of DEI go in there and talk to the girls and said, just as a reminder, we believe in equity. Everyone has the right to wind up in the same space. Yeah. And of course, my kids are primed on this. We're inoculating them against this bullshit at home. But she knew enough to come home and be like, Mom, this is what they said. And I was like, no, she's absolutely right. On the next test, when you study hard and the girl next to you doesn't, she has a right to see your answers. You have to show them to her. She has the right to get the same grade as you, no matter how much work you did or didn't put into it.
Yeah. I mean, that is funny to have a DI program at an all-girls school.
Well, it's like
that's you don't even accept men.
But that's the. But those
if you're
are
selecting out a group of people, you really can't continue that conversation.
Well, they can't have the oppressors and the patriarchy running the school.
That is true. Wait, are there any like male leadership in the school?
Yes. Well, not leadership, but there are plenty of male teachers.
Just male teachers.
Yeah.
But no male leadership.
No, there isn't. No. Oh, well, wait, I'm wrong. When you get to the high school, there's a male the head of the high school. I mean, she's only in middle school, but so we're not there yet. Yeah. I don't think they're against men. But, we did a bunch of research when the kids were really young on single-sex education, and it seemed like K through 8, it was a good idea. And the good thing about this high school is when she gets to high school, she'll mix now with boys. So that's good, because, at some point you have to learn how to be around the opposite sex.
Yeah, you do. I'm surprised it's that way, not the opposite way.
What do you mean, like co-ed K through 8 and then single sex? Yeah. I think for girls, the philosophy is, they won't be afraid to say how they feel because, in middle school, it's awkward for everybody. And maybe around the boys, you're a little bit more buttoned up. Yes. And then in the younger grades, boys tend to be more disruptive and kind of bigger pains in the ass. And girls are like well-behaved. And so then they get demonized. So it can be better for them to be alone too, where they're not being compared to the well-behaved girls. Like at our boys' school, the first thing they do for the K through 5ers is they let them go to gym for like an hour.
Get it out of the system.
Get it out.
That's smart.
Right?
That's really smart.
But girls don't need that.
They're just ready to pay attention and lock in.
I mean,
oh, it's amazing.
Yeah. Isn't this fun? You have all this to look forward to with your now 1-year baby
I'm
daughter.
so excited. Yeah, it's great. It is like terrifying though. All these things are scary.
You don't know anything.
You really don't know anything. And now I have this amazing empathy for yeah, I mean, I don't want to like politicize this too much, but like even these like hot button topics, like, you know, vaccination and these kind of things, like if you don't have children, like you really don't even need to be part of the conversation at all.
Yeah.
Because you don't understand the fear of making a decision that could negatively impact your daughter either way.
Yes.
To do it and then something happens, God forbid, now you feel that responsibility. You don't do it and something happens, you feel that responsibility.
Yes.
And you're constantly, you know, these decisions are put in front of you. It's like, oof.
Well, like you're trying to rely on your doctor and you try to find a good doctor and just do what he says. But then this whole past 5 years has really undermined health in doctors and public health officials, right? So you're kind of like...
Every institution I feel like we have super low confidence in.
Yeah, every pediatrician that we've had has recommended that we get them the COVID vaccine, which we didn't.
Yeah. Oh,
my
you
current...
didn't?
No,
I got
not
a
my...
fake one.
Oh, no, I got myself the vaccine, which I regret, but I did not get it for my kids.
Did you get a booster?
Yes, I got one booster.
Oh, I didn't. I got a fake booster so I could do a movie.
I wish I had gotten fake.
I got you. There's like some Hasidic
shit.
Jewish guy in Brooklyn that I went to.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Why didn't I know any of this?
And then I gave it to the movie company to prove them that I was vaccinated. And they hit me back. They're like, yeah, this is bullshit. And I was like, all right, I got to talk to that fucking guy again.
What?
Yeah,
It was? I'm shocked. What did he shoot me up with?
Yeah, it's
So you got the first 2 shots, but nothing more.
Yeah, I was excited. Like, I know this sounds crazy, but I was like excited to get the first 2 because I was like, I just want to get out. Like, I want to party.
Same.
Like I didn't know what the fuck it was.
Because you were in New York.
We went down to Miami.
Okay.
So we were in New York and everything was shut down in New York. And in the beginning, it was kind of exciting. Like, it was just me and my wife. We're like making fucking meals together every single night. You know, it felt like camping. I've never gone camping, but like, that's kind of what I imagined it was. And I was lucky. I'm doing podcasts. I'm doing what I do outside of stand up.
Yeah.
So like my life wasn't that different outside of like not being able to eat out, I guess.
Yeah.
Come winter, it got brutal. Like, it was just, so we went down to Miami for 4 months and it was amazing. Like, my whole team, we all went down there. I think day 2, the entire team got COVID.
Yeah, of course.
The entire team. My poor guy was in our pool house for 2 weeks with COVID. He got long COVID. Like, was, yeah, I mean, it was great. I just see him in the window, just waving at him. It was incredible. Dove, who's here right now. But yeah. So there was this part of me that was like, I just want to be able to do things.
Yep.
Like, so shoot me up. I don't care.
And
like,
they were Nazis in New York about it, which is your real home base.
Yeah. It is tricky. Do you like, so there is this thing where I go, yeah, we're going to be more strict in New York where we live on top of each other. We're all in the fucking subway together. Like, I don't want to compare New York to Montana. Like, when someone in Montana is like, I can't believe you guys did that in New York. It's like, yeah, you live on a ranch.
Yeah.
Like
500 acres.
Yeah, like the rules are going to be different. You know, I got like a Dominican family above me that's going to play music at 12 unless the city has a rule that stops the music at 10.
That's right.
So sometimes you like a little government overreach if you want to get to bed, you know?
Well, and we were all being told on the initial vaccine that it would stop the spread. So that it, would make you not contagious.
This is what I feel like people do that's just like so frustrating. It's like it's the lies to cover up the lack of information. And then you get these like conspiracies. Like every conspiracy, I imagine like the truth of it is probably way more boring. Mm-hmm. But it's probably like a little incompetence.
Yeah.
Somebody refusing to take accountability for their own incompetence, covering it up with a lie, and then the internet gets after it. They're trying to solve this puzzle. And it's just, if one person had the balls to just be like, yo, I fucked up.
Yeah.
That was me.
I was the second shooter. I'm just going to put it out there.
We need the Victoria's Secret guy. Who's Epstein's?
Lex
Wexner.
Wexner.
Yeah. We just need him to come out and be like, I funded it.
Why can't we know more about him?
Dude, this is the thing. It's like, give him immunity. Give him immunity.
Yeah. And
then we can learn everything and we can move on.
Yeah.
But he's got to know. Why'd you give this guy billions of dollars to manage?
I have to tell you, I had a couple of conversations with somebody very close to the Epstein case, like very close to it, who shall go nameless for this conversation. And this person swore to me.
Acosta?
No, that there's.
He could talk too. He knows shit too.
That he wasn't this, quote, pedophile,
Right.
that he was into like 16, 17-year-old girls.
Yeah.
And that, yes, some may have sort of gotten through that were slightly younger, but that wasn't exactly his thing. And that pretty much every famous celebrity was friends with him and went on his jet.
Yeah.
But that at most, all they were getting was like the so-called massages from these 16, 17-year-olds, as opposed to like a pedophile ring.
Yeah.
Now, I don't,
16, 17 is pedophile for me.
Well, it depends on the state. It could be illegal,
But
or it
in
could be
some
legal.
places, it's probably legal. Like even in Canada or even like the UK or something. In France, I don't even know if they have an age.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
I think they're still defending him over there.
Yeah, the only thing they age is cheese.
I mean, you think about it though, because like, how did Alan Dershowitz wind up, becoming Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer? How did all these world figures wind up on his plane? Because he had cachet, he had money, he was already connected, he was tight with the people at Harvard. That's all you really have to say, that you're tight with the people at Harvard and MIT. Everybody will let you into their party.
Immediate cosign.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if you've got these certain credentials, you're good.
I don't even need to check in on you.
No.
You're tight with Harvard. You have an office at Harvard?
Yes, you must be legit.
You're a legit guy. Why would Harvard not?
Even after you already pleaded guilty to something with a young prostitute, like Katie Couric's still going to go to your dinner party at your mansion.
Bill Gates is still going to ask you for marital advice.
Yeah, how about the Bill Gates thing?
Yeah.
Like, were you surprised when it came out that he was like with all these younger women and like these pool parties? And it was like, he'd been so buttoned up in this like totally respectable person.
Am I surprised that the billionaire guy had a bunch of chicks that he was sleeping with?
Not so much.
No.
But it was totally contrary to his image at the time.
I don't think Warren Buffett really wears khakis and drinks a Diet Coke on a bench in Omaha.
Mean? Yes, he does.
This is the beautiful lie that we're all
Explain it to me.
You think that that's what he's doing? You think he's
Warren
just like,
Buffett, yes.
I'm going to have my hot dog and a Diet Coke. No, that's like propaganda. He's in a boardroom somewhere going, okay, we got $1 trillion to move around. Let's make it happen.
I thought you were making a comment about women and Warren.
No, I don't think Warren's doing anything with women.
Okay,
Or he might be. I have no clue. I have no clue. But nothing surprises me. Nothing shocks me. Like, in order to make that money, I'm not talking about like tech billions is a little bit different, right? Because it's all like fugazi. It's not real. It's like, okay, we think that this is worth that. Everybody's trying to get rich on it. The stock price spikes. The businesses aren't actually making any money. It's not real money.
It's all on paper.
Yeah, it's all paper,
you can't
right?
cash
It's all
out.
speculation, right? So, but like in order to actually make like proper $1 billion, like you got to kill like, I don't know, a few people, right?
You do?
I think.
You think Elon has killed a few people?
Oh, what do you mean, a few?
What do you mean? Like how? With a Tesla, with a self-driving?
No, not like he shoots
Neuralink.
it, but also he's tech. Like I don't know how profitable the businesses are.
Yeah,
like
right.
how profitable are the businesses?
I'm sure he could cash out on some of these, like Tesla at some point.
He's a genius. I'm not trying to be like overly critical of him, but I'm talking about like an actual, you are making dollars and cents business that you can cash out. Like, I mean, yeah, I don't think that you can have this like pious constitution and do that.
Most of these people cash out and they sell, like Mark Cuban, he sold this business he came up with. And there's just the one sale because it seems like the first buyer winds up getting screwed. Like he thinks he's going to build it. He's bought something meaningful. And then when he turns around, like everything's collapsed. That happens all the time.
Yeah.
You want to be the one who invents it, builds it up into something big on paper, and then get out of town.
Get the fuck out of there.
How about Elon? Now he's all over the news for the Doge stuff.
Yeah.
He wore a suit the other night.
Wow.
Mike Davis, who comes on the show a lot, he's a lawyer, Trump affiliated, tweeted out something like, 2 things. Elon has a suit and a babysitter.
He brought something back after the
We haven't seen it. He's turning over a new leaf.
You know what the thing about Elon is like he's obviously a brilliant guy, and you want brilliant people on your side, especially if like we're going to World War III. Yeah. Like if we are going to go to war with Russia, China, whatever it is, I think you kind of want the rocket guy on your side, right? Like
he can either protect us or get us to Mars if things go to hell.
Right? Like let's just, so we want to keep him over here. My concern about the Doge thing is I don't think there's a single American out there that's like, I want waste, inefficiency, and government corruption.
Right.
This is a bipartisan supported issue. And I feel like because maybe he hasn't developed like the skill of politics, he's kind of like twisting the knife a little bit. And it's like
too inhumane.
I don't even know about inhumane. I'm just like, it's kind of like, gotcha, here we go. Where you could rally support from all of this. Everybody wants this. The left should want this. The right should want this. this can be a victory for America.
I think it is. I mean, like, do we have that Harry Enton thing I asked for? You know him over on CNN. He's hilarious.
I know him from the cellar. He hangs out at the Comedy Store all the time.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
He's funny himself. I love his New York accent. Here he is talking about the Doge and the public reaction.
This, to me, was one of the more shocking figures that I saw. Made me go, wait a minute, hold on one second. Whoa, Americans on Trump and Joe's efforts. Musk and Doge should influence government spending and operations. Look at this, 54%. The majority say that he and they should. How about approve of Trump trying to cut staff at government agencies? Again, you get a majority here, 51%. So yeah, Elon Musk might not be that popular, but these cuts and the idea of spending cuts, at least within the federal government and cutting at government agencies, that actually has majority support. I was truly surprised by this, Kate, but the numbers are the numbers. Democrats want to argue that the type of spending that Musk is cutting is mainly necessary programs, but that comes in at just 36%. The wasteful spending actually wins the plurality here at 42%, according to a recent Washington Post Ipsos poll. And I think that is the reason why you see that when it comes to Musk and Doge, you see, in fact, the majority believe he should have some influence because they believe, the plurality believe, that he is cutting wasteful spending, not necessary programs that Democrats are arguing.
So he is winning the PR war.
Yeah, but to me, there shouldn't even need to be PR. Like it should be 100%.
How so? Like he should be more clear on the Doge website, which is not that user-friendly.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's more clear. I think it's more like the tweets and like the antagonism within the tweets. And I think he's developed this very like polarizing personality online. And there's a way, okay, the question right now is it possible to be less polarizing, right? Like what percentage?
No matter who you are.
Of course.
Okay.
And like now that he's in this position of, it's not only like immense power, but also influence. And he's tackling a topic that is not partisan at all. Like there is support here. So you don't need to antagonize at all. It's like, buddy, everybody's on your side. If you hire some people and then, if you fire them and then have to hire them back, like it's okay to be like, hey, we made a mistake there. We're not perfect. We're gonna do this right, and we're gonna figure this out. Like it's okay to acknowledge these things. And this is where I think like having a little bit more experience in politics can be helpful. Because it is a different game. You're dealing with emotions, not facts.
Yep.
You could show me those lists all you want. Like, people are emotional beings. They don't give a fuck. Like, what is it that Dweeb says all the time, the Ben Shapiro guy? He's like, facts don't care about your feelings.
Yeah.
It's like, no, dumbass. Feelings don't care about facts.
That's true, too.
We feel things. Like, there's a woman in Mexico that's going to see the Virgin Mary in her toast today.
Yeah.
Because she feels the Lord. And then sees it afterwards. We don't look at like...
Usually it's a Cinnabon. Fine. Keep going. Just in my experience.
That's how you know. That's how you know Megyn is locked in at the airport. Christ is king when she's at the Cinnabon.
I try not to let people see me going there.
I love it. There's that great Louis C.K. bit where he's like, I went to Cinnabon after arriving.
That's sad. No, I don't go to Cinnabon because I'm in my 50s and I just can't do that anymore. But I will tell you, not too long ago, I was at the airport for a layover and I wanted this so badly. And I'm like, I'm doing it. And I got not just the small bag and not the huge bag, but like the medium, sort of large-ish bag of Cheetos.
Yeah.
I ate every last one. There was a woman across from me kind of looking at me, stealing glances. You could tell she was kind of like, is she going to eat that entire bag of Cheetos? I'm like, sister, I am.
America, they're just like us.
It was so good.
The stars are just like us. You deserve a bag of Cheetos.
It's a guilty pleasure.
Yes. You've earned everything. What do you should be eating Cheetos every single night.
Well, then it starts to come back at you, like then next thing.
But then you get the Manjaro or the Ozempic or whatever like that.
It's better to keep it off to begin with. Trust me. I've lost and I've gained over the years. It's just better if you can keep it off.
There's no more fat pride, huh? That really ended with the Ozempic.
I think if you're a leftist, there is.
You think?
You have to at least say you are. Otherwise,
I think Ozempic ended that.
Did you see Lizzo?
Yes, she's beautiful.
Oscars? She looks awesome.
Yes, I think they've all realized that. But it was hard to do it because you got to put in the effort,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
All
The
these
left
fat
is
models
still
are doing it too. They're like on the Ozempic, so there's no more
after telling
fat
us that we were supposed to embrace it and it was healthy.
Oh,
and it
I
was
got
beautiful.
ridiculed.
Yeah.
For just being like, this is absurd. Like,
This is
what
not
is
hot.
going on? And not at all. And now they're all on Ozempic, and they're like, I'll just be a model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what about Swimsuit or Sports Illustrated now bringing back actual hot models for its magazine.
America's healing.
Yeah, right. With all due respect to Martha Stewart, I guess that didn't sell a lot of magazines, or Gayle King.
Oh, why? Did Martha go in there?
Yeah, and so did Gayle King. And I think they eventually realized what they really wanted.
Martha was a baddie back in the day, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Did you watch her special?
Yeah, I did.
It was crazy.
She is a psycho, but here's what I'm saying. She has some bodies that you don't get to that number without taking some people out. If someone told me that like Martha had someone killed, I wouldn't be like, Martha?
Oh, really? Well, she is a convicted felon.
Yeah. Like, you don't think she's capable of murder?
I don't.
Not herself, but like getting someone else to do it?
No. Are you capable of murder?
I could murder.
What?
Yeah. Like if somebody did anything to my daughter, I could kill them.
Yes. Okay. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Or to protect.
Yeah, of course. If somebody's like gonna, do something to my wife.
But what about for like, business?
Oh, like could I murder somebody to like get ahead
vendetta.
or to get a deal
or
something like
out
that?
of a vendetta?
No, I mean or where I could convince myself that they did something to my daughter. I'd be like, yeah, I definitely have to kill that comedian.
But can I tell you something? Like if you're a sociopath,
yes,
because I've talked to some sociopaths, they actually have no qualms about this whatsoever.
Yeah.
They will talk to you about like, yes, that is an acceptable menu item. Like killing the person to take care of the problem is right there.
Yeah.
Like they just don't even, and 1 in 4 people are sociopaths.
Yeah, I've heard this. Like it's kind of a sad way to live, though.
Well, yeah.
Like, but because like there's a competitive advantage about not caring about people, but the human experience is connectivity. So like you go without that. Like I was speaking to this guy, he used to be a CIA dude, and he was like borderline sociopath, and that's what they liked about him. Because you want people that can make those really difficult decisions, and I'm sure the CIA has all their whatever.
Right.
Anyway, and he was telling me that like he's aware of what people should feel.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't feel it.
No, they study.
Yeah.
And they learn the proper way of reacting.
But imagine not being like, imagine your kid, that first time you hear a kid laugh, and the way that it like transforms your entire idea of what joy is.
Yep.
And imagine seeing that and feeling nothing.
You're dead inside.
What a horrible way to live.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I can find out whether you are a sociopath.
Ooh, tell me.
2 minutes or less.
Go. This is good.
It's a little riddle.
Okay, go.
Okay. A man shows up at a funeral.
Yeah.
He goes to grieve the dead body at the wake. It was the wake. And he sees a woman near the casket, and they exchange a glance. They make eye contact. The man leaves. The funeral wraps up. A week later, that man kills that woman's mother. Why?
Because he's a sociopath. Well, I probably do have the answer, but
What do you think the answer is?
because that woman's mother was the mistress of his father.
You're not a sociopath.
Oh, wow. What is it?
Because he wanted to see her again. The woman. Now, let me tell you something.
But did you see how I went with women cheating?
But can I tell you, everybody's so
My
worried.
biggest fear.
So the sociopath gets that like this.
Wait, really?
They have that answer like this. And let me tell you where I got this test from. Somebody who used to be in my life, that person's father was a psychiatrist in one of the worst prisons in America. And they would actually do this test on the patients, and man by man by man. And by the way, to my listening audience, if it came to you right away, you might be a sociopath.
Yeah, turn yourself in.
But you'll see it has to come. Like if you're wrestling with it and after like a minute, you're like, was it this? You've given a couple guesses and you get there eventually, you're good.
Yeah.
Because the sociopath immediately is like, because he wanted to see her again. They just think differently.
I mean, it is the easiest path to seeing her again.
Right.
It guarantees it.
And there's no moral objection on your list.
Of
Again,
course.
you're like, who cares? Isn't that crazy?
That feels good that I'm not a sociopath.
Yes, you can go tell Emma.
Yes, I know.
But I knew you were in my head while I was like, should I do the sociopath test on him? I was like, what if he fails? And I've humiliated this poor guy in front of everybody. But then I was thinking about the video you put in your latest comedy thing on Netflix. I'm like, there's no way Andrew's
like
a sociopath.
What's the opposite is empath?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. I'm like, you feel too much.
Yeah, I believe that about you.
Yeah.
You are a softie.
Yeah, I'm sensitive.
Yeah, I can
very
see that.
sensitive. And it's like, it's weird. It's like I'm sensitive, but like I'm numb to certain things. Not numb, but like they don't really affect me, like criticism and going through all these like random internet shit that I go through.
Yep.
But I am very sensitive to the people I really care about. So like reactivity within like my family or friend group. And then I'm also sensitive to like kind of like cultural trends. I can like feel like frustration pretty early.
Like, what do you mean? Do you feel one now?
No, not even like what do I think for people, for example? Like what do I think people really care about? Like I think that the Democrats, for example, like they could win the next election if they just make it a class issue. Like it's that simple. And they got to just be, they're so risk averse and they need to be a little bit more brave. Americans, we have very high risk tolerance or low risk. What's the one I'm trying to say?
We have high risk.
Like everybody in our family's history, like the craziest people in the world came here.
Yep.
Like they lived in another country, left their entire family for maybe it working out and then came over here.
Right.
So we're built crazy. So we like people to take risks and we like bravery. And despite your politics, we react to those type of people. And like, I think this is part of the reason why Bernie was so successful is that he's out here like calling out the billionaire class, calling out these corporations. And even like people who were Republicans, like working class Republicans were like, yo, who the fuck is that? I kind of like this guy. Like, it feels like he's kind of riding for me.
That's who Joe Rogan was for 4 years ago.
All of us loved him. And despite...
Or 10, whatever.
Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's kind of what the Democratic Party is missing is just, I need a disruptive guy or girl who's willing to come out and say eggs are $1. Like, what's your build a wall?
Yeah, right.
You need eggs or $1.
Yep.
Even, and then you could, subsidize it, whatever it is. But like, you need to smack into people emotionally.
Do you feel like this is the answer? Because this is the latest messaging from the Dems on social media today, SOT 13. Okay. Choose your fighter video montage.
Oh, God.
Oh, yes. Yeah. It's Democratic female lawmakers, AOC, in the fighting stance and bouncing. Oh, she looks like an idiot. Look at this one.
Yeah.
Look at her, Jasmine Crockett. Oh, the last one's terrible. I have secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean by fearless and risk tolerance?
Yeah, exactly what I mean, that to me makes me proud to be an American. Like I feel safe with those women right there. They can defend me. Yes.
Does that inspire you to get to the ballot box?
You know, it's like, I don't even know why AOC's there. She's actually, you know, like her or hate her politics, like I think she pulled the same as Trump in her district.
She's good on the social media. I mean, she knows how to use social media. Normally, I don't think she came up with that campaign.
No, I think she's like getting on board with it. But at the same time, like I guess her constituents feel like she's fighting for her.
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of this, for them. And whereas like, I find a lot of times with the Democrats, there is this like pretentiousness. There's this like Ivy League educated, like second or third generation kind of trust fund Nepo babies that are like, telling people how they should live and how they should vote. And it's like, first of all, if you've never had a real job, you don't get to talk.
Yep.
You don't get to talk. Like, I'm almost like if you never had a kid, you don't get to talk. Mm-hmm. But like, if you never had a real job, you don't get to tell people how they should vote. Mm-hmm. Like, we just despise that.
Yeah.
So what I think they have to do is get back in touch with the working class is very much make this a class issue, and you got to call out those people who are giving you money, which are these billionaires and these corporations that are donating, and they won't do it, and that's why they'll probably lose. But the first person in that party that calls it out, you're going to see the Bernie effect happen again.
Well, I mean, the problem they're dealing with right now is they don't know how to handle Trump. They don't know how to behave properly. You know, they're way like
don't even talk to them.
We're debating the spoon. They're debating whether you should stand when the 13-year-old brain cancer-stricken boy gets honored. They didn't do it. There's a meme going on right now. I think Riley Gaines posted it saying they knelt for 8 minutes and 43 seconds for George Floyd.
Yeah.
But they couldn't stand for Peyton McNabb, the now 19-year-old, formerly 16-year-old who got slammed in the face with a bodyboard. They couldn't stand for DJ Daniel, the little boy, the 13-year-old boy with brain cancer. They couldn't stand for the widow of the cop who got gunned down. They couldn't stand at learning that the terrorist who organized the Abbey Gate attack got arrested.
But the problem with this is like they're falling for the trap. and this is why you need a little bit more like boots on the ground with the Dems. Like you got to understand like what people think of you. Like we were saying, people are emotional. It's not like what you believe is real. It's what they feel is real, right? So they've got a couple issues. They've got a masculinity issue, right?
Yeah,
like,
they do.
I said something on Brilliant Idiots with Charlemagne. I was just joking around. I was like, I don't know a guy like over 5'9" that identifies as a Democrat.
I love that. I played that
crazy.
soundbite on my show.
They went crazy. And I didn't realize it was going to be so reactive. And then afterwards, I was like, oh, wow, they have this deep insecurity that they're not seen as masculine. So that really tapped that insecurity.
Well, then do something about it.
Well, so you have to find a way to be masculine. You can be masculine and care for people.
Yes.
There's so many ways. Like, I'm a fucking kid who grew up in like an arts family in New York City. Like my whole family is Democrats. Like this is like, there's tons of very masculine Democrats.
Yeah.
Like shit, Bill was maybe too masculine. You know what I mean? Like there was a time where Democrats were getting laid and Republicans were like, how do you do this outside of the marriage? You got to wait for that. Is completely flipped.
Yep.
Completely.
Did you feel it was masculine to hold up the little sign saying Musk steals?
Oh God!
Did you feel you would have done that had you been a masculine Democrat?
I don't even know. I mean, but to your point about this is like they're falling for the trap. The Republicans know, right, that they're going to sit down. So they're putting out circumstances that they can't. They're like, if they sit for this, they're going to look so bad.
It's a no-lose situation for Trump.
But if they stood for it, it's actually a beautiful moment.
Yes.
Look at this poor little kid.
Yes.
And it's a great moment where we come together. It's just like Doge. Getting rid of government waste and inefficiency is a great thing for America. We should have bipartisan support for this. What Dems are doing is they're going, you're a bad guy. And that worked when people thought Trump was bad guy. They don't anymore.
That's right.
They don't.
You're making yourselves look like the bad guys.
Don't even talk about him. Talk about the people you want to help. People are desperate.
Yep.
They need help. You need your build a wall. It's eggs or $1.
Yep.
You need your build a wall. We're building 10,000 affordable housing units in every city. We're seizing this land and then have developers go, wait, you can't even do that. And go, I don't give a fuck if you say we can't do it. That's what we're doing.
They don't have that guy.
Put your balls on the ground. Like, just make it happen. Even if it doesn't happen, it's like Trump saying we're going to take Greenland. It's kind of fun.
Right.
I like that shit. That's
Gulf of
the
America. I like it.
Hell yeah. Like Gulf of America, I don't care. Why was it ever Gulf of Mexico?
I know. We're so much bigger than they are.
Right? Matter of fact, they could still call it Gulf of Mexico. We don't care. Do you know what I mean? Like, but that's the energy that we need. Americans love abundance.
Yeah.
You need to sell us on abundance.
No, wait, aren't you the guy? You're the one who said this to me, and I've quoted you on it many times on how the moment Trump won you over was when he took the guy from Montenegro by the shoulder, was like, to the back.
Wait, which one?
When he was over at like the G7 or the G18.
I loved it.
And he shoved that guy.
Why am I in the back?
Right.
Why this?
I'm America.
Nobody even understands what this country is, this guy in the front. Move out of the way. I will sit here. And then he did it and everybody got in line. It happens. You need that kind of, that is some like psychotic shit. I don't think I would have the balls to do that. That is some ballsy shit.
Montenegro's in the back, sir.
Bye. See you later. You're all in the back. It doesn't really matter.
Right, everyone.
If I'm giving you money, you're in the back.
Yes.
Are you guys giving me money? So why are you in the front? Right? It's like...
Well, that's part of his like weirdly...
It's unbelievably charming.
Charm and humor. What did you think of... I thought it was very funny at the State of the Union. Did you laugh?
Great. This amount for this country. Nobody even knows what the hell it is.
Did that make you laugh out loud?
Yeah. This is why... Another thing Democrats don't understand. They don't understand like why this like billionaire who was given money from his dad is so relatable. Well, why don't you listen to him talk? I've had conversations with like rich people, okay? They don't talk like that.
Yeah.
They're incredibly buttoned up, a lot of them, and concerned publicly about their image, and they're very deliberate about what they say. He don't give a fuck.
No. When the
Indian reporter was asking him the question, and he was just dibble-dabbling, and then Trump let him finish and go, I don't understand what the hell that guy's talking about. You know who says that? The guy on the construction site.
And he called her Pocahontas at the State of the Union.
This is how working class people talk.
Yeah.
This is like what we do. This is how we communicate with one another. So when we see it happen, we're like, oh wow, I relate to that human being. Again, emotional people. We're not Ben Shapiro, feelings, no facts. That's not what we are. We are, I what is it? Feelings don't facts?
Ben says facts don't care about your feelings.
Yeah. We're not the facts don't care about your feelings. Feelings are the only thing that matter. And when you communicate with me in a way that all my friends communicate, I start to feel like, I can kind of relate to you. And it doesn't matter how much you try to make that person radioactive because he's communicating and hitting me at my core.
That's so true. It's why his background in construction really made him, despite his advantages in his family and when it came to money, so relatable because he spent his whole life around working class people.
Exactly. And it's like... I say these things because I think America is at its best if we have two candidates that people really are having a difficult time deciding over. I don't want a system, right? Like I don't want a system. Like a lot of times there's this like good versus evil dichotomy, and it's like they almost want the Democrats to be bad, and the Democrats want the Republicans to be bad. Like I want America to win.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm concerned. Whatever candidate loves America more, that's what I'm voting for.
Yeah, well, that was, I think, pretty clear between the Democrats of today and the Republican Party. The best moment of Trump that I've seen on this score is the one where he sat for that deposition on behalf of in the E. Jean Carroll case against him. And the lawyer asked him, did you say that you can grab him by the P word?
Oh, yeah,
and they let you get away with it if you're a celebrity? And Trump said, yes. And she said, why did you say that? Well, because that's the way it's been for thousands of years. You know, unfortunately or fortunately. Would say that in a deposition in a case where you're being accused of sexual assault.
I did a joke about that, and I was like, he said if a billionaire can grab you by the P word, and there's a lot of women that are like, oh my God, you can't say that, and I was like, yeah, but none of you have met a billionaire. Like, why are you talking about this? Like, I was like, you're getting fingered by thousands.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Like, this is not a relatable circumstance for you. So, yeah, it's wild.
All right, stand by. Let me try to get this ad in. We'll be right back. He's here all day. Netflix special called Life. Are rising costs or scaling challenges holding you back? Are you having trouble taking your business to the next level? Financial Yield Solutions, Inc., or FYSI, provides tailored solutions for businesses generating $1 million to $10 million annually. From tax planning, advertising, and retirement strategies to scaling operations, FYSI helps businesses thrive. For those considering selling their business, FYSI guides them through a winning exit strategy with confidence. With $500 billion raised for AI technology under the Trump administration, businesses cannot afford to be left behind. FYSI can even help you explore AI integration to lower costs, enhance efficiency, and increase profits in today's rapidly evolving tech climate. With over 14 years of experience, FYSI specializes in addressing the exact challenges business owners face. Book your free business review today to transform your operations, grow your profits, and secure your future. Visit fysi.com/Megyn or call 800-877-4000. Success starts with FYSI.
I walked in that hospital with so much confidence. They handed me a cup. I'm handing them back a martini. I'm ready. Remember, I went in the room. I jerked off. I opened my eyes. I looked down. I thought I missed. There was so little sperm in this cup, I could have counted them individually. There was a red line on the cup 3/4 of the way up. For what fucking reason, I do not know to this day. 3/4 of the way? What zoo animal hippopotamus cups are you giving out to people? Why are you even giving me a cup? Give me a contact lens case. I'll turn that shit into a Guinness.
That was so funny. It's part of, hello, again, this is Andrew Schulz with me today. This is the latest Netflix special. It's out now. It's called Life, and it's so well worth your time. You know, maybe don't watch it with like your 8-year-old, but teenager, absolutely love it. And I would say, like, I watch the whole time where I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying. I'm crying. I hope nobody knows what I'm watching. I hope they can't hear what I'm laughing
There's
at.
some adult content in there for sure, but it's all in.
But here it's a personal story. This whole thing is about your journey with Emma in trying to conceive a baby.
Yeah.
And no detail is spared.
Yeah.
But so it's very personal. It's unusually personal for you.
Yeah.
Did you run it by her first?
So the thing was, at first, like, you know, this is the most like male thing, like, but it's, I assume that the reason why we couldn't is because it was her fault, right? And I talk about it in the special where I'm like, she was really concerned it was her fault, and I was really concerned it was her fault. Like, we were all really concerned.
It's obviously her fault.
Yeah, because like men, we have this like confidence in our sperm that like there's no real reason why, but we just know, right? Like every time I've ever had sex with a girl, I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be crazy. Like, what should we do? How do we, calling the next month? I know she's pregnant, guaranteed. Which I now know is a waste. And once we found out that her ovaries were perfect and my sperm was horrible, it actually made it a lot easier for me to talk about.
Really?
Yeah, because I think the reason why, like, anybody who has fertility issues, one, it's very isolating because you're so protective of the person that you love that you don't. A lot of women feel a lot of shame around this.
Yep, true.
And at first, I felt like real shame. I was like, does God not want me to have a child? Like, I was like, I didn't understand it. Like, I think I'm like a pretty good person and I'm kind to people. And I'm like, why is this happening? Like, what the fuck is going on? And yeah, so I get that. And a lot of women, if they are struggling, they're just like, they feel like it's I don't feel very stigmatized, right? And but once she was perfect and I was fucked up, I could get on stage, and it was really cathartic to talk about it. And then once I started talking about it, I literally thought that I was like, this was like a 1 in like 10 million thing.
Oh, wow.
The second I started talking about it, all my friends start telling me that they're doing IVF.
Oh, wow.
And like all these people in the audience would hit me up afterwards. They'd be like, oh yeah, same thing happened. And I was like, what the fuck? Is this like the last taboo subject?
How did anybody ever get pregnant before IVF? Because everybody's doing it.
Dude, it is like... It's unbelievable. It's almost like I was like, does anybody really get abortion? Like I mean, it's so hard to get pregnant. Why is this an issue? Like how often do these athletes have unprotected sex that they have 20 kids? I couldn't believe it. It was unfathomable. So, but then it became like, yeah, there, as brutal as it was, there was these kind of funny moments. That being one of them. Just that. The humility.
Going into the room with the lady. Oh, we just talked to the audience. Doug came in to say hi to Andrew in the commercial break. And we were bonding over our shared experience because he and I did IVF with our kids too. Yeah. And Doug joked that after he had to donate the sample. Yeah. First, he said he was going to wear like a red crushed velvet smoking jacket on his way in, and on the way out, he was just going to be like, "That was fantastic! That was amazing."
Yeah, I was always thinking about like, do I make noises in there? Like, how uncomfortable do I make it for the other guys at the clinic? Like, just screaming random things.
Yes,
like, Sesame Street, just something crazy. But yeah, it's like. Oh, it was crazy.
It was like a walk of shame when you're walking by all the other guys there. Everybody's there. Oh, God, I know what you're about to do.
It's so humbling.
Yes.
Like, you're just sitting in this room, like all of you are in there. You're like,
so why did they make you go in to give the sperm sample? Couldn't they?
So I did it from home once.
Okay.
The whole, I haven't even put like a lot of the stuff in it, but like the whole journey was brutal. So the first one I did from home, which was like, I'm in the room. My wife like hands me the thing like it's like homework. And she's like, okay, I'll give you 30 minutes. You go do your thing. I'm going to go outside or I'm going to do the dishes. So like I hear her doing the dishes in the background where I'm like being mandated to masturbate. And I'm like on our bed. Like, I don't think I've ever masturbated on a bed. Like, I'm just on our bed, and the bed is made perfectly. Like, everything is, like, set up. And I remember at one point, like, I'm just like, I don't know, this is, like, so weird. And I, like, looked up, and the TV was off. So it was just a black screen. So it's a perfect mirror of me.
Oh, no.
And I was just like, this is the saddest day of my life. I'm sitting Indian style on my bed trying to make a sample to go in this cup. We send that sample in. It comes back. And it's like, it's not good. Oh. And they're like, not only are they not swimming, they're like shaped weird. And I was like a little defensive. So I was like, well, could that be from like the speed that they hit the cup? Like maybe, the blunt force trauma kind of warped them a little.
The flow is just too strong.
It was too strong. That's what it is. And they're like, no, that's definitely not it. And I was like, okay. And they go, well, why don't you do this for like a couple months? Wear baggy underwear, ice your balls every single day.
Oh, ice them.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. I guess that's a big thing. Don't drink anymore. Don't smoke anymore. And take these pills. And then we'll try it again in like a month or two. And I did that, and we tried it again, and it got worse.
No.
What? And I was like, why do you think that is? And the doctor's like, we've never seen this before.
There's some pride in that. Yeah. It's got to be a little bit.
I'm setting records.
I told a story one time when Dave Rubin was on, but Doug had the funniest experience there where they make you ejaculate like 24 hours before the real sample that's going to be like your future kid.
Yeah.
They want you to clean the house.
Yes.
It's like, I can't remember if it's 24 or 48 hours.
I think it's 48 hours before. Yeah.
Okay. So, but they want it to be 48.
Yes.
And they don't really want it to be 46 or 44.
Because you need the amount of time to build up the new batch.
Yes. So like timing does matter. It just so happened that on one of ours, we were visiting my Nana, who was literally like 90 at the time. And we were playing dominoes. And I was like, oh, Doug, it's time. He was like, what? I'm like, you got to go in there right now. My poor husband. And you know, it was like one of these older person's homes where like there's 5 inches between the bottom of the door and the ground. He can hear every piece of conversation. And the dominoes, like, you're palming the double 5, you know? And Doug's sitting there behind the door. Horrible, poor Doug.
This is the thing about this.
Do what you got to do.
The journey is brutal when you're in it. It is the hardest thing that you'll go through in your life. Sorry, it's definitely the hardest thing we went through. And, but after the fact, it is hysterical.
Yes.
Like,
can't believe what you've been through.
Yeah. And like, there are so many of these things that are so funny. And the beautiful thing about having a child is you get this like amnesia for what you went through to get there. And I think that's actually kind of like built into our DNA so that we keep making them.
I totally agree.
You know, like
same women have been saying that for eons because of the pain of labor.
Yep.
And it's so, you know, devastating. And then you forget all about it. I never had labor because I had 3 C-sections, but my friends tell me it's extremely painful.
Oh, Emma was in there for 24 hours and then she had the C-section because the baby's heart rate dropped.
Oh God, that's scary.
Yeah, the whole thing is terrible. When you were doing the shots before to prepare for the IVF, like, did you have any fun mood swings or anything?
Oh yeah, I was actually fine. I did not have weird mood swings, but it was very funny because Doug does not like his mom got this terrible cut in her leg and it was so brutal. And Doug was right there. He bandaged it up. He put the medicine on. I was like, like I can't take that kind of injury. But you pull out a needle and Doug is one of those like,
so he couldn't do the shots for you.
But he had to in the beginning. As it turned out, he didn't have to, but we thought he did.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, they really make it up into a thing. Like, you got to mix the compound, and then it's like kind of back in a hard spot to reach. You got to ice the area. We're like, oh my God, like our future family depends on this. And Doug was in a hot, like a cold sweat. And the superintendent of our building at the time, his name was Lance. And they were like, it's very important that your wife have a partner that helps with it. And Doug is like, this is going to be very hard for Lance. But he did it. He did it. He got it through. But honestly, by the 3rd child, you know, Doug was no part of it. I was like, I need no ice. I'm good. Boom. We're done. Off to the races.
It is crazy that they make you mix it at home. So anybody who's not familiar, they give you these 2, I guess, hormonal compounds, and you have to put them together in the syringe.
In just the right proportions.
I'm like, why isn't this done at the lab? And then we just hit it. Like, you don't have to make the Kit Kat, right? Like, make the bar and then send it to me. Right. And I remember like watching my wife do these things, making sure it's the right amount. You got to push a little out so no air gets in there.
Right. So you don't give yourself an air bubble, like life or death.
Literally. And she's
scary.
like, did I push too much out? Will I not get it? Is this... But there was fun. I mean, Emma would get like, it would really get her going.
Would she get angry or just overly emotional?
Oh, angry. Like... But we didn't know that was the cause. So like, I remember we got into it at a Japanese restaurant. You don't realize how quiet those restaurants are until you're having like a loud blow up with like, and you know, the only thing interrupting the blow up, because everybody is already quiet at a Japanese restaurant. And then once you have like a verbal altercation, they're really quiet.
Oh, I love when somebody has a fight and I'm nearby.
Oh my God.
Doug and I, like, he'll start talking. I'll be like, be quiet. This is too important to me.
We gotta lock in. Everybody was locked in. They're just slurping udon and watching us. And the only thing that would interrupt it is like when a new person would walk in and you know the whole restaurant has to go, Hasimashe, whatever. And then Emma would feel like they were interrupting our argument. So we're fighting. Hasimasen. Emma goes, "Are you kidding me?" And then back to yelling at me. It's just amazing.
Well, you weren't that guy who was like, she's going through a lot. These are just her emotions. I'm gonna let everything slide. I'm not gonna get mad about anything.
We didn't know that it was the case. So we didn't know until literally that night. I go, hey, did we do the shot? We did the shot today, right? And she goes, oh shit. And we're walking down. We were on Kenmare Street.
That's when you put it together that she's hormonal.
And then she was also like, oh fuck, I guess I'm like really reactive to this. And then from then on, we stopped going to Japanese restaurants.
And then how about after she had the baby? Did she have like, because you're sleep deprived, you're very hormonal.
It's the most insane thing. If you're, did you breastfeed?
Yeah.
Okay. That is I think that is the most difficult part of child rearing is the if you are breastfeeding full time, like meaning every 2 hours.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That is insane. Every 2 hours. So you're waking up. I don't think a lot of people know this. You're waking up every 2 hours in the night. You don't get more than an hour of sleep at a time.
It's truly like an astronaut training situation. Yeah. No, it's brutal, but then it lets up a little.
When it lets up, it's this beautiful bonding experience that you have with your child. And like, it's something even now, like Emma's still breastfeeding and it's just this thing that she's like, she doesn't even want to let go of it.
Yeah. Well, then you get to like the 6-month mark where the baby can start having like smaller, like solid foods.
Yeah.
And they're still having breast milk. And you're at the point now where like you're producing the more milk than ever. And yet the baby's somewhat getting a little independent.
Yep.
And the weight comes shredding off. That's the best moment where you're like, I'm making tons of milk. All these calories are coming off for free.
Oh, because your body is burning calories.
But your baby doesn't need as much milk as from you as he needed at 5 months because now he's starting to eat food.
Right.
But your body doesn't know that. So it's still burning like 800 calories a day. You're like, oh my God, I have a waist again.
Yeah.
There's a normal ass. Thank you, sweet baby. I always say they're selling breastfeeding to moms all wrong. That you would care about the health of our babies, but we know that babies who are formula fed are fine too. You have to sell it to them like Ozempic.
You'll be skinny.
Yes.
It is natural Ozempic.
It's natural Ozempic.
Yeah. Let
it's
that
good
baby
for you.
suck the fat out of you.
They put it on you. It's the least they can do.
That is their gift.
Yes.
Wow, that is so true. Yeah, Emma really got her shit back.
Yeah.
It was like...
Well, your baby's only like 1 now, right?
1 year, 13 months.
So now, is it kicking in now? Like, that's usually when you're like, what about number 2?
Like, let's go.
Gonna fire up the machines again.
Literally. She was like, do you want to do it this month? And I was like, can I just get the special out? Let's get the special out. Let's do like a weekend somewhere. This has been like 3 years in the making.
Yes.
Between like making a baby and also, making the special and like, let's just take a little vacation.
And you've probably been told this, but like the difference between 1 and 2 is large.
Wait, tell me, what do you mean? Like your relationship with them? Or
no, when you just have one baby, like in the beginning you're overwhelmed, as you know, but like by year 1, you kind of got it down.
Oh yeah.
And things are, you can still have a life.
Yeah.
You can still take a nap. You and Emma can still steal away for like an hour in the middle of the day while your one baby is asleep or somebody else would easily watch your one baby.
Yeah.
But when you have 2 babies, like under the age of 3, you're effed. There's no napping ever. There's no downtime. This is where you really start thinking about having live-in help. Like, who can come live with us?
What about
so I can
3?
sleep again? I don't even remember 3. It's like all a blur. But I felt the difference from 1 to 2 was much larger than from 2 to 3. Like you've given up your free time when you have 2.
Got it.
And like a 3rd, even a 4th, I think I would have had a 4th if I had been younger when Doug and I had met. But 1 to 2 is big. Okay.
My buddy said, he goes, he agreed on 1 to 2. He goes, but 2 to 3, because he just had his 3rd. He goes, man, 2 to 3. He goes, I don't know. I go, what do you mean? You don't know? He goes, you're outnumbered, bro. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. They have you. Like, you're with one, this one's fucking around doing something. You just constantly need help.
Yeah.
It is, especially when they're, but yeah, we want to have another one. We would love to have another one.
No, I remember early on in our tenure of having 2, Doug went to see his mom one day, went to visit his family, but it was just a day trip.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I'd been alone for like 12 hours with both of them without Doug being there. I'm like, I'm good. I'm fine. Like I had a newborn and a 2-year-old. And I'm like, honey, trust me, I'm the mother. I've got this. And so I was pushing. It was late in the day. Things hadn't gone that smoothly. I'm not going to lie. And I took them out for a walk and I was pushing the baby in her stroller. And my 2-year-old was like walking next to me, or he was on like that little ride-on thing that you can put on your stroller, like on his feet. And he had this thing where he loved to take off
Okay.
So I'm pushing the baby up a hill, and he's on the little ride-on thing standing there. And Doug turns the corner in his car coming home just at that moment, right? So he sees the whole thing. So at this moment, Yates, our oldest, did not see Doug. He was just doing his thing. He takes off running. And there's a massive street straight ahead to which he's running. And I can't just let go of the baby stroller because I'm on an incline. Like, if I let go of the baby stroller, she's going to go.
Yeah.
But he's running toward traffic the other way. Yeah. So all this is happening, and there's Doug. And he kind of does the gentle beep and waves. And I was like, hi. Like totally, yeah. And then finally I'm like, lock the stroller, try to rescue the toddler. I'm like, I got it all under control. No, he knew it wasn't true.
Yeah, you just got to
The whole thing is so humbling, isn't it?
Yeah.
And as you add more, and as they get older into the toddler years, even more so.
It is amazingly humbling. That's the best way to describe it. All of it.
Right? You don't know anything.
You know nothing. It's crazy they even give you the baby. I remember when they first gave us the baby to leave the hospital, I was like, how is this legal?
Right? Isn't there someone more qualified?
Yeah, we are not professionals at all. Like right. They just give you like, here's how you wrap it. All right, have a good luck at home.
Right.
I mean, it's just.
So are you an involved dad? Do you change diapers and all that? Yeah.
I feel like you can't really have an opinion on how it's raised if you're not doing some of the things. Like obviously I'm at work, you know?
Yep.
So like Emma, this was actually really hard for her. I wonder if you felt this way at all, but like, my wife is.
Oh, there you are.
There's my little Shiloh.
Shiloh, she's so cute.
Yeah. So Emma's like, she's, very like successful in her own right. Like she got her MBA and then she was working and managing AI projects for Apple. And then she was like, I don't really want to do this. I want to be a mom. And I feel a little guilty even saying that, but that is the true thing that I want to do with my life. Like it's always been my dream to be a mom. And I was like, listen, if you want to do it, don't do it because I said it, because then you'll resent me if you realize that you wish you never should have quit your job.
Yeah.
But if you want to do it, then go for it. And it was like interesting watching her like grapple with that. And that's something that I hope changes in the very near future.
I think it's starting to.
Yeah. Like I think that we should reward mothers that stay at home in the same way that we reward mothers that go work. And
value and talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Republicans are way ahead on that. Democrats, I don't think they're there.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, it's just like when you go to certain countries that like value, I think it's also like a big city thing where there's not a lot of like family built into it. Like I grew up in New York City and it was very rare that there were like families there. And so they're just the idea of it, like a kid crying on the subway can be like bothersome to some people. And whereas like once you have kids and you see a kid crying, you're like, oh, it's adorable. Or you feel bad for the parents. But I hope that as the pendulum continues to swing with feminism or masculinity or whatever these things are, I hope that there is this place for moms that stay home, and it is a privilege, but that they don't feel this kind of scrutiny. I think it's like a really beautiful thing if you can afford it to do.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And also for guys who are sensitive and empathic, but not man bun, mandel, merce.
This is the thing that I don't get about like the masculinity movement right now. It's like a lot of these guys like at the forefront of it, like aren't even dads.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, okay, you got like you could deadlift, like,
or some are just like,
or deadbeat dads.
I was going to say they're producing children, but they're
not even looking after them. It's like, why do you get to decide what masculinity is? Like, I think that's like the least masculine thing you can do. That's like a coward.
That's
like,
right.
I was talking to Rogan about this. He goes, listen, there's a lot of bitches out there, and even bitches need a leader of the bitches. And I think sometimes we're mistaking them for like being masculine guys. It's like having muscles doesn't make you masculine. Like to me, being involved in your kid's life is masculine.
What tough guy ever tells you how tough he is? They don't talk about that.
Exactly. Like the greatest of all time. Like Michael Jordan never said he was the greatest. He didn't need to. We knew.
Right.
So like when I see like involved parents, like one of the most beautiful things about this whole process, even talking about these things, is like seeing how much people love their children and like feeling really comfortable sharing that. And they'll share these stories about when they first had their kid and like seeing dads. I mean, this guy who was driving me, and when I was in Austin recently, he was telling me about how he does this like daddy-daughter dates. He has these two daughters and they each get a different day. And like, that's the shit I would like to see promoted a little bit more in the masculinity movement in America. Like, don't tell me like how much time that you could like jog
Yeah.
You know, I don't care how many miles you could run.
Or how much money you have in the bank.
Yeah, like I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They don't give. I'll tell you one thing. They don't. Your daughter don't care.
Well, you do a very funny bit in life about how you have, there's so much pressure of being a dad to a daughter because one wrong move and she's on OnlyFans.
Yo, and it's your fault.
You missed a volleyball game.
Yeah, it's daddy. Like there's no such thing as mommy issues.
Oh, we have that? Okay, let's watch that. That's so funny. It's hot
I have a screenshot of the moment I found out that I was going to have a daughter. If you want to see stress, if you want to see pressure, put that shit up. That's a real picture. This is the pressure of knowing no matter what happens to your daughter, it's dad's fault. I miss one volleyball game. She starts an OnlyFans. It's my fault for some fucking reason.
You're not wrong. Daddy issues is a thing.
What's mommy issues?
No, it's not really. I mean, it can happen, but
what is it even?
It's not as much of a phrase.
We don't even know what it is. Like, there's no, like, if a kid shoots up a school, we don't go, mommy issues.
No, it's more like he can't leave his mom. That's what I attribute it to.
To me, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
Like, you did a good job being a mom. Yeah. Wow. Your son loves you and has a deep connection to the most important human being. And like, that's a positive effect.
Now you're terrified of making the wrong move.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I don't want like, I want my kids to be incredibly comfortable with their family, not like waiting to jump at the first person who's going to take them away from
You wouldn't find it empowering for your daughter to consider becoming a, quote, sex worker?
Oh, my God.
As was praised?
Can we just call them whores? Like, I hate the fact that we're like making up these terms that make it seem more dignified.
Right.
It's whore.
Right.
That's it.
Well, what about that girl on OnlyFans? I don't know her name, but she's the one who had sex with like 100 people in a day. And then Stop it. And she's now going on a tour of nursing homes.
That's cool. I like that.
I wondered how you're going to react to that.
Cool. I like it. I had a crazy thing.
We do. Oh, my team is way ahead of me. Here she is. And SOT 24. Her name is Lily Phillips.
My oldest fan via Facebook. And when I asked for his address, he actually sent me the address of a care home. So I'm actually here with him and his friends. And I'm going to show them a good time.
So they actually figured it out. This is heroic. I liked it. This
no judgment.
No. They figured it out. Those are sex workers. That's work. That is no. This is. I didn't know that they were doing this. When they were doing those, like 100 girls or 100 dudes or 1,000 dudes or whatever, I'm like, this is disgusting. This is fucking stupid. But having sex with old guys in old people homes, that is altruism. That is when we're talking about.
I should show it to my daughter.
Charity.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, when she's ready. That is charity. That is beautiful. That is fucking beautiful.
I feel so uncomfortable with it.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
Yes, very.
But not for them. Those guys there.
Oh, God.
Oh, they're so excited.
What do you think? Like, they could die.
Happy.
Oh.
They'll die happy. They'll also just forget it. And then the next day, that's the sad part, is they won't even remember it happened.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite jokes I heard a long time ago, which was like a 95-year-old guy marries a 25-year-old gal and goes to the doctor right before the wedding. And he says, is there anything I need to know, doc? And the doc says, well, yeah, you should know that sex at this point could be dangerous, even lethal. And he said, if she dies, she dies.
That's great.
Yeah.
There's my dad is dementia, and which is obviously very sad. He's my hero, and he introduces me in the special. And but like during this time where Em and I were trying to get pregnant, I would go over every week to see him. And he'd be like, "How's things going?" And I'm like, "It's rough trying to get I'm just trying to get pregnant. And it's just not really going that well." And he would go, he goes, "Well, if you need some help, I can help you." And he would forget that he would say the joke.
Aww.
And every week, I would go over, and he would offer to have sex with my wife and put a baby in her. So this goes on for like 6 months. So this is now. What I will say is that might be like the negative side of dementia. But one of the cool positives is, and life is about perspective, right? You can have good perspective on even the worst things. Like he gets to find out he has a granddaughter every single time I see him.
Is that right?
Yeah. Now, sometimes he'll kind of remember, sometimes it might not be there, but like that must be a pretty cool feeling.
Does he remember you?
Yeah. So it's hard building new long-term memories.
Okay.
Like the way the memory works is there's like short-term and long-term, and you can create new long-term memories just by continuous efforts. So like repeating the same thing over and over again.
Like with the table manners.
Yeah, exactly.
Reinforcement. Constant.
But short term, he doesn't really.
How old is he?
He's 81.
So how long has he been dealing with this?
Honestly, it started, I think, when I got out of college. Like even 20 years ago, I started noticing these things. Like very small, but it was like, oh, something's kind of up. And then.
So does that make you worry for yourself? Do you ever think about it?
Oh, anytime I forget anything, I'm like, I got it.
Yep.
But I don't know if it exactly works like that.
Right, I know. I have such a fear of this. And my mom doesn't have Alzheimer's, and my dad died too young for me to know. He died at 45 of a heart attack. But I worry about it so much because it's like it can happen to anybody.
Yep.
And it can, even if you're using your brain as you do for a living, as I do for a living, you're not immune. It got Sandra Day O'Connor, who's like, I mean, there's nothing more intellectually straining than being on the U.S. Supreme Court.
Yeah.
So it's just so indiscriminate and it's terrifying to me.
Some say diet.
Yep, diet.
Diet can really impact.
And
I think that's
sleep.
what we're gonna
Every
find
time
out.
I have a sleepless night, I'm like,
it's over.
Getting my early alleys.
Yeah.
It's coming on.
Yeah.
Because you don't remember. When you have a bad night's sleep, you don't remember that as well the next day.
I will say it does kind of expose like your true character in a lot of times. And one of the cool, rewarding things about it is just like seeing what like a good human my dad is. I've always thought he's like this angel, but like a truly just good, kind human. Like my mom had to take his like debit card because he would like give the people who sell the fruit in the neighborhood just money and forget he did it and then go back and keep giving.
He was
money.
popular.
Yeah. These fucking assholes kept letting them give him money.
Oh no, that's low.
Yeah, that is low.
Yeah, that's
so.
not okay.
I made the call to Trump and I was like, "We got some illegal." I got a couple.
Speaking of having murdered people,
exactly.
Oh, well, that's good. You take care of him. You have a good perspective on it. I always feel like if God forbid this happens to me, I've said this to Doug. Please make sure I'm sitting in a room with all my favorite movies. Just on loop.
Yep.
And, my favorite audiobooks just playing on loop. Like I can just keep enjoying these series over and over and over.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's exactly the way it works, but that's how I'd like to believe it's going to work.
It will. But I don't think that, I don't know. Who knows what will happen? I hope it won't happen. But don't stress about it now.
I know. You
Because
shouldn't.
you'll have plenty of time to stress about it later.
Well, the other thing is, this is one of the things that RFKJ's been talking about. There's been such bullshit going on in the public health world for so long. Yeah. And we talked about this on our show 3 years ago, where this massive thing came out with this guy committed fraud in saying they'd made this major breakthrough in Alzheimer's and that they'd really zeroed in on the amyloid plaque.
Yeah.
And then it turned out he had been faking all the photos to show this, and they'd been repeated. And he was like the gold standard researcher in all this. And now it's like Alzheimer's research was set back by 15, 20 years. It's one of the other reasons why it just feels so good. We have people in there now who will not treat any of this prior bullshit as, godly and untouchable.
Yeah.
Jay Bhattacharya, who just took over at NIH, he's being confirmed right now as his hearings are underway. They were like, so you're not going to go back and look at whether childhood vaccines are linked to autism, right? Those are well-settled studies that there's no link whatsoever. And to his credit, he was like, look, I understand there's been a lot of research on this, but he basically said, I'm not going to say never. Like, I think there's nothing wrong with going back and looking and then revealing the science to everybody.
I think that the most important thing that anybody that is representing a government institution can do right now is be transparent about their failures and their successes. So if going back and looking at the research and then presenting studies shows that there is no link, that's awesome.
Yeah, now I trust it coming from you.
It. Yeah, I'm feeling concerned. Like, I joke around all the time, like, I believe whatever the last YouTube video I watched is. That is what I believe, 100%. Like, I'm easily convinced, like, I'm locked in. So if you're RFK, if you're this guy, it's like, just be transparent. Tell us where the fuck ups were.
Yeah.
Don't gaslight us, because we've been gaslit so much that I feel like that it's completely dissolved our confidence in these institutions. And in order to have like a proud American public, we need something to be proud of. Mm-hmm. We can be proud. We fuck up too. You can fuck up and we will forgive you. Give us that opportunity.
Yeah.
But I cannot forgive you if you continue to lie to me.
That's right.
If you are not accountable for anything at all, like, and I think that's why Fauci, he'll never be forgiven. That's why he probably took the what's it called?
I am science, the pardon.
Yeah, it's like, why do you even need to take the pardon?
Yeah. Meanwhile, I will say Elon's out there like, we did screw up. We canceled funding for Ebola Nobody likes Ebola, but that we're resuming that.
More of that. I
Yeah.
love that. Like, to me, instead of looking at that and hopefully the opposition or hopefully Democrats don't use that and be like, see, he's an asshole. You should use that as an example of how you should conduct yourself in public. Hey, we messed up. We're bringing it back. We're bringing those people back.
It doesn't sound like Trump to me.
Trump refuses to ever do it. He is
Was
right
your
in
show
100%.
the first one on which he explained the weave?
Yeah.
It was, right?
Yeah.
That was an amazing soundbite.
Oh, dude, he was I think the best moment of that whole thing to me was when he goes, I'm basically an honest person. And I'll never forget that. I think about that once a day because it's actually the most honest thing you can say.
Yeah.
If everybody looked at that like, see, he's admitting he's a liar. And it's like, no. A liar would say, I'm an honest person.
I never lie. Yeah. And I don't know if this is true, but they say like the average person lies something like 15 times a day. It's something ridiculous. But no, that was a great interview that you did with him. And
thanks.
We actually have a clip of it, right? Let's play it and we'll take a break later.
I do a thing called a weave. I don't ramble. If I start a story, what you do is you weave things and you do it. You need an extraordinary memory because you have to come back to where you started.
Yes.
You always, a weave is only good
They
if
don't
you
give
come
you credit
back.
for that.
Yeah, it's true.
You could go all the way over here and then
I
get
can
back.
go so far here or there, and I can come back to exactly where I started. Now, someday when you don't come back to where you started,
You're Biden.
then you say,
He wasn't wrong. Like it was, and he does do the weave and he does manage to land it back.
I mean, he's just the way the way he constructs sentences is different than normal people. It's like whatever idea pops in, he grabs onto it and he continues. And I mean, you've been talking in front of a camera to millions of people for decades. You probably know by now, like the people that you listen to are the ones you cannot predict the next word they're going to say, for better or for worse.
Right.
You can't predict how he's going to finish the sentence.
Oh God, no.
It could start on Ukraine, and then he's like, I had the best falafel. The thing about falafel is there's a place in New York, Mamoon's. We bought that building. It was a great building. Like, it's just,
Yes.
and I'm locked in.
Yeah, you're riveted.
The train is going.
Yeah, but he will get back to Ukraine at the end.
He'll get back to Ukraine.
To his credit, because that's the place where most of us fall apart. You lost your train of thought, you're off, you're meandering down a tributary, and you never get back on the main river. Trump always does. All right, stand by. We're gonna take a little tributary now. We'll be back on the main river with Andrew Schulz, whose new special, Life, is on Netflix right now. Go download it. Do yourself a favor. And we'll be right back with Andrew. Grand Canyon University, a private Christian university in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, believes that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. GCU believes in equal opportunity and that the American dream starts with purpose. By honoring your career calling, you can impact your family, friends, and your community. Change the world for good by putting others before yourself. Whether your pursuit involves a bachelor's, master's, or doctoral degree, GCU's online, on-campus, and hybrid learning environments are designed to help you achieve your unique academic, personal, and professional goals. With over 340 academic programs as of September 2024, GCU meets you where you are and provides a path to help you fulfill your dreams. The pursuit to serve others is yours. Let it flourish. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu. More and more, we are seeing people in their 70s looking amazing, right? And it's a reminder that now is the time to take better care of ourselves, of our health. And that includes working out and lifting weights. This is why I want to tell you about Jacked Up Fitness. Jacked Up Fitness is the leading provider of premium all-in-one home gyms. Their Power Rack Pro unit is a top-of-the-line functional trainer that is everything you need to get a full-body workout right in your own home. Their Power Rack Pro package even comes with a full set of their signature branded rubber weight plates and a fully adjustable incline-decline bench. And if you are new to weight training, don't worry, they have full-body video workouts that you can literally just press play on and follow along with to get started. Order your own Power Rack Pro at getjackedup.com. Use the promo code MK at checkout. That will save 10% on your entire purchase. No more excuses. It's time to take charge of your health. Go to getjackedup.com and get started on your fitness journey today.
When your wife first gets pregnant, you have to go get a baby-specific doctor called an OBGYN, right? Which I didn't know what the fuck that was. I thought it was more gay letters. I was like... My wife's like, we need an OBGYN. I was like, why do we need a fucking gay guy to deliver the baby? What do they know about this? It's not their jurisdiction at all. I don't want some gay doctor to open my wife's legs like, ew, yucky, vagina, gross.
That's amazing. I have to say, there are a lot of women who do it, but I've never had a male OBGYN.
Yeah.
And I never want one.
My wife's dad is an OBGYN.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, who's going to that? Like,
I don't know. Some
it's
women
just
are
so-
totally fine with it.
Yeah.
He's not looking at you as like
Not at
an
all.
individual.
No, but I also, as like a man, I don't know why you want to see, because like, aren't you kind of seeing women like when it's at its roughest?
They don't see it that way. Like, I think they're able to distinguish between the moment they're with that personally versus professionally.
Yes, of course. I'm just saying, like, if you're going to the OBGYN, isn't it like, something's burning down here? Or whatever, right? Like, don't you see it if it's bumpy or burning? And now you're just seeing like vaginas that are messed up.
Necessarily, you know, you got to go for your annual exam.
There's
where
checkups.
They do the full checkup.
Pap smear, right?
That, yeah, and you know they can get on it up in there.
Really?
No, yeah.
What is a pap smear?
It's very unpleasant. They put like this like clamp thing in you, and then they take like this long Q-tip and they rub the cervix, and then put those like cells on a petri dish and send it out to go see if you have like early cancer.
Oh, so it's to see if you have cancer.
I mean, among other things, I'm sure, but yeah, that's what I think it's for. Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys have to do that every year.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's most of us go once a year. Or,
Wow.
Now you can potentially go once every 3 years, depending on like your health and whether you've had this HPV vaccine. That's very controversial. We did a whole show on it. But in any event, yeah, it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant even when you have a female doctor.
Yeah.
And they check you everywhere.
I've never seen a
all over.
cock doctor in my entire life.
What?
I don't think we go to that.
Well, no, doesn't your normal doctor, though, handle you and make you cough and check for prostate issues?
But how funny is that? That like, just like the vagina has its own doctor, and then I could just go to like a nurse, like anybody with the stethoscope and get my balls checked.
Well, you're a lucky man, because I'm sure if you had a problem down there, they would send you to a urologist, and then he'd grab you like a ketchup bottle, and you'd be uncomfortable.
But yeah, I guess my problem is internal. But yeah, that's yeah, wow.
I know. The whole thing with the doctors is like very intimate. They get right up in your space, and like there's no way around it. As a woman, you have to let them check your lady parts, and then you get to the age where I am, and you got to go for the mammograms, and they grab your
breast.
boob and they squeeze it down like a pancake. It hurts.
Yeah.
And they're squeezing it, and then the woman's running out of the room to X-ray you, and you're like, why am I stuck in here with all the radiation?
Yeah.
And they're telling you have to do it once a year. I don't know if I believe in it anymore. I mean, you do. Don't listen to me. Don't go for your mammograms. I'm just saying, like, now I had to start going, I think, at 40 or 45. I've been doing it for 10 years.
Do you have breast cancer in your family?
I mean, my Nana had it when she was 81, which I don't think technically counts, but it doesn't matter because most of breast cancers come in families where you didn't have a family history anyway.
Really?
Yeah. So you have to worry about it no matter what. It's just one of those things. You hate the annual physical for this reason.
Yeah.
Right? You just got to start thinking about all the things you don't want to think about.
Yeah, it just makes you face your
Your mortality.
Yeah,
but you're still young, so I don't. Do you get an annual physical?
I don't even know. Eventually
you
my
don't
wife
know?
she'll just say things to me like, it's been 2 years since you've been to the dentist. And I was like, all right, I'll go to the dentist. Like, I don't keep it up with any of these things. It's
Well,
bad.
I mean, good dental health is very important.
Yeah, they say that.
And the longer you wait on that one, the worse it is.
And you have your teeth, right? These are
these are all my
real
teeth.
teeth. It's so refreshing to see real teeth.
Oh, thank you.
Don't you think?
The veneers are blinding.
It's too much, the veneers. Like, you kind of almost like, you need to go down a shade or like stain them slightly.
Do something.
Yeah.
I'm not good at detecting them. I actually just found out that most people are wearing veneers who have that, like those 1,000-watt smiles.
Yeah.
I didn't totally know that.
Yeah. Now it's become so popular that I think it's actually going to have the reverse effect.
Like it's going to be like the Kim Kardashian butt where people start rebelling.
And I think we're going to want to see natural teeth.
Oh, okay. Here is a transition for you.
Ooh, good. Tell me.
Speaking of the Kim Kardashian butt.
Yes.
Her ex, Kanye West, has a different wife now.
Bianca.
They may or may not be getting a divorce. There have been rumors and reports that they are, but unconfirmed. But before Kim, I think, and before Bianca, there was Amber Rose.
Yes, Amber.
who wound up speaking at Trump's RNC.
Yeah.
And she gave an interview on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp. And she spoke to why Kanye likes apparently having his wives be naked in public, like a lot.
What did she say?
Take a look.
Kanye's for sure dressing her like that. Yeah, he did the same thing to me and Kim. This is who he is.
What is it about that he wants the world to know, look at my woman? We can see.
He wants other men to want his woman. That's what he's into. He likes that. He likes that men are like drooling over his woman. That's what he's into. Yeah, he wants all his friends to want his girlfriend. He wants everybody that when you walk in a room, that his girlfriend or wife is the most desirable in the room.
She the baddest bee in the room.
That's what he likes, yeah.
And she said he did it to me, he did it to Kim, and he's doing it to Bianca. What do you make of that? Like, that seems so odd to me to want everybody to admire your woman so much you want her to go out naked in public.
Yeah, it makes me question like if he really likes her or if she's just a tool for his own validation.
Right, to get attention.
Yeah. Yeah, Kanye's I'm just like exhausted by it, to be honest. Like he's so exhausting, but he's so good at getting attention.
Yeah.
Like I'll just be so annoyed by him and then he'll like tweet a couple things and I'll be like, holy shit.
Did you see all the porn he tweeted?
No.
The Super Bowl weekend? Oh my God. So all my friends were texting me like, don't go on Kanye's X feed, which of course
you got to do.
You go immediately.
Of course.
Like, what's he doing?
Yeah.
And I could not believe my eyes.
Well, he's actually posting porn.
I don't think it was him.
Yeah.
It was a black man and a white woman in the videos without the faces in most of them. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it was very graphic, XXX porn.
Yeah.
All over his X feed.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. Right. So then I logged off of that. And it wasn't until a couple hours later that I remembered to mention it to Doug. I'm like, oh my God. So he went back. It was still up.
Yeah.
Like it hadn't been taken down.
That's not surprising me because like there's a moment like the Super Bowl where he knows that everybody's attention is going to be on somebody else.
Oh.
So he's like, I'm going to make this about me.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a constant like thirst and need for attention. I don't even know if he's aware of that.
Do you think the Hitler comments are coming from the same place?
Yeah, it's the same thing as MAGA. Like when MAGA was that radioactive, he was like, I'm going to wear the MAGA hat.
That's interesting.
He takes the most disliked, radioactive, fucked up thing, and he's like, I'm so cool that I can make this cool.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done that like throughout his life with fashion. And, now he does it with like talking points and that kind of stuff. But I think it's just a reflection of like him thinking, I'm so the man, I could make Hitler the man. Or it's coming from this place of, you're not going to tell me what I can or can't like.
Yeah.
I have total autonomy and freedom in my
That I respect and like.
Yeah.
That I like.
It's just there's other ways to prove you're free.
Right. Well, there are a lot of people like that in the public, conversation.
Well, I would also go like, are you really free if you need to do that?
Right.
Because now you're being controlled the opposite.
Well, if you always have to do the most subversive thing, the most controversial thing.
People that are truly free don't need that.
Yeah.
They feel the freedom, so they don't need to execute it every second. People who don't feel free need to constantly prove that they're free.
It's back to the old, Michael Jordan didn't tell you what a great basketball player he was.
He knew he was.
Yeah.
Like he knew he was. It's simple.
I was
as
actually
that.
with somebody from another sport, which I won't reveal who it was because it would make it obvious. But they were like, I'm the GOAT. Everyone knows I'm the GOAT. And I remember thinking, I don't think the GOAT ever calls himself the GOAT.
No.
It's not a thing.
No.
So you've got this very successful podcast now in addition to your comedy routines. What do you do on that show? Are there any limits? Is there anything you do to make it a success? Somebody was just asking me this about my show and I was like, that's not how I approach it. I just kind of do I just talk about what I want to talk about.
Yeah. I talk about what I want to talk about. And then like I try very hard to not let the algorithm dictate what we talk about.
Yep.
And I feel like a lot of times now there's a lot of creators that don't even realize that the algorithm is really dictating to them what they should create. Mm-hmm. They'll post a video or cover a topic and it will go crazy. And then they go, oh, I should cover that more. And then you see people like lose their own personal creativity and they just become this slave to the algorithm.
Yes.
The problem is that when you're going to do the stories you want to do, you have to accept that some days the stories are going to go crazy and some days they're not going to go crazy. And your core fans will really appreciate it, but it's not going to be this pure numbers game. Mm-hmm. And that's been the thing that like we accept, because authenticity is like the most important thing to me. But it is one of those things that you got to go, okay, this isn't going to be as big a story. We get that. How can we be so interesting or so funny about it that maybe more people will find interest in this thing that we're really interested in?
I really think that is fool's gold, right? Just to go for the viral clip, because it's like you might get a lot of subscribers or follows or whatever, or even just views or likes of that one clip, but they're not real.
I'm so glad you keep going. This is great.
They're not going to stay. Like, that's why you see people who have a huge number of subscribers on YouTube, but very little engagement, because their fans are not actually, like, they just click to watch that one clip, but then they're never coming back.
Yep.
Whereas if you just work on doing good programming every day, they're real. The relationship between you and the people watching is real. They trust you and honor you, and vice versa.
They trust you. They're here. And if you really care about something, there are people watching right now that might not care about it at all. And the fact that you do, they'll give it that little second, they'll give it that minute, and they'll be like, okay, maybe I should care about this thing.
Right.
I see this all the time. It's like, and this is kind of like where you can see the grift a little bit, where there are people that sometimes are popular because there's great social utility. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, there's a version where, like, this special has social utility, and I might get popular with some people because they're
called Life on Netflix. Check it out with Andrew Schulz.
But I wasn't even trying to plug, but like maybe they're going through like IVF or fertility issues and they feel like really seen or represented. But so maybe for like a moment, I'm very important to them. But then when that becomes more normalized, less stigmatized, they realize they don't really agree with me on other issues. So they're like, okay, I don't need you anymore. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, not to harp on Shapiro, like kind of what he's gone through. It's like he had these great arguments for conservatives at a time where it was like really radioactive to be conservative, right? Mm-hmm. It's like there are these people that they like needed to defend their positions, but they didn't have these, they didn't have like these like beautiful Harvard, like just like no fat at all, like awesome dart arguments, which he's like really brilliant at making.
Totally.
And he supplied them and they were like, oh, this is the guy. Now it's not stigmatized at all to be a conservative. The majority of the country is conservative. Right. So now they're like, all right, well, we don't really agree with you on Israel-Palestine, so we don't really need you anymore. You don't have social utility. So he didn't build that bond with the audience.
I mean, his show is still huge and very, very successful.
Yeah, I'm saying like, I'm not saying that he's not, but clearly there's been some issues over there in terms like of fracturing of the audience.
Yep.
And the fracturing of the audience to me shows that they're not actual fans of him, but that there was social utility that he provided. And then a quarter of them or 10%, 20%, whatever is now going, well, now I no longer need that social utility. But it's not just him. I'm saying it could be me.
It can happen to anybody.
And what you hope is you have this core, which he has his core, you have your core. I hope I have my core. That will continue to expand when you create authentic shit that matters to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, here's to doing that. A lot more of that. And if you want to see Andrew do that, seriously, trust me, check out Life on Netflix. For many reasons, we want to support him. You will laugh your ass off. And there is no way we can let Meghan Markle be number one. It has to be Andrew Schulz. So you get on there and you download it over and over, my friends, please.
Watch it. We're coming for Kate Hudson. Okay?
Great to see you.
Great to see you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, before we go, I have something important to tell you. I have been secretly working on a series for 3 years. And I'm finally going to bring it to you next week. Seriously, this has been a labor of love. It's taken me, I don't know how many hours of my time, but I've done it because it's a very compelling story and it's an important one. And I'm really, really hoping that we can get to the bottom of it together. It's a new series that I'm doing. Hopefully not every series is or episode is going to take 3 years because it's a short life. But it's called Megyn Kelly Investigates. That's what I'm calling the series. And the first topic that we tackled is one that is near and dear to my heart for a number of reasons. And it's the story of baby Lisa Irwin and what happened to this 10-month-old baby. We go deep inside this case and the unsolved mystery. You have never seen the facts that we have uncovered about this baby's disappearance. We have brand new stuff. We have explosive interviews. Every single character involved in this story did sit with us, did speak to me. And I'm just going to leave it at that, but I'm going to show you the tease now. And the whole series is going to air on this channel next week. Watch. A baby girl vanishes in the middle of the night.
Just want a baby back. Please. Bring her home.
It's a case that's never been solved.
Nobody is looking for her because they think her mother killed her, and she got away with it. I'm sorry.
12 years later, we're still trying to solve it.
All right, let's get moving.
Megyn Kelly investigates.
We go deep into the clues.
Her car was set on fire.
Seeing a man with a baby is huge. New reporting.
I was terrified.
Was that chilling, Cindy, when he admitted that?
Yes. I couldn't believe it.
Totally not true.
I will always love him.
Expert analysis.
She gave us truth in the lie.
And that's our best lead.
Now we have to rethink everything.
And the guy everyone wants to know more about. We found him.
The last thing he's going to want to see is you, Megyn.
Hi, I'm Megyn Kelly.
Baby Lisa.
It's every parent's worst nightmare.
Dead or alive, we need to find out what happened.
Oh, okay. So it is a 5-part series. It begins this Monday. Please mark it. I assume you're already subscribing to our show on Pod and on YouTube, but if not, please do. It will air live on SiriusXM. It will be on youtube.com/Megyn Kelly and on all podcast platforms. Thank you all so much.